Welcome back for another exciting edition of Two Men in Black and White. We've got breaking news happening all over the world right now, especially in the Caribbean. The Trumpster is at it again. You know, um, we're going to get into that, and a whole bunch more, plus the Pentagon scrambling, trying to somehow justify killing the two survivors of that September 2nd bombing and murder of the gentlemen uh, who were in a boat minding their business and were pegged as drug peddlers by the Trump regime. All right, also, we're continuing to keep our eyes on the expected resignation before Christmas of those 20 GOP members. Come on, GOP, do your thing. Hey, if cholesterol don't get him, resignations hopefully will. All right, Brock and Ellis joins us now from way up north. Brock, you're on the road again, my friend.
Yeah, up in Vermont, getting a little snow today.
Nice, nice. Going to work on the
Well, Mark,
tan
let
while
me
you're up
let
there?
me let me just jump in, maybe offer a correction or a little addition to your comment. Not just drug smugglers that we bombed,
Oh,
narco terrorists.
narco.
Remember, we've created a new term to
Yes,
justify their killings in the high seas. Of course, we don't ever
absolutely.
have to look at the boats or show the fact that there were any drugs on any of these boats. These are just they're narco terrorists, and we've nipped them in the bud, you know, in a little speedboat that's going to run out of gas, 500 miles from our coast. But
Right.
that's where we're
And
at.
every boat bombing saves what, 400,000 lives?
Yeah,
So,
400. Yeah, we're
so
up to 20 million lives now saved. So that's an issue. Hegseth can't get around it. He's
nope.
committed a war crime and or murder. He would be prosecuted if a new regime comes into power in America, and he's
Sure.
already on the hook for it. So,
Right.
yes, he's going to try to suppress the video because if all of America sees the videos, there'll be, it'll take, the media cycle will just continue on this topic. He may lose his job if he loses the media cycle because Trump will only look at things about how they impact him and how it
Right.
impacts his popularity.
Right.
And if Hegseth becomes too much of a burden, he would have to go. But for now, Trump hangs in with people pretty long because he never wants to admit a mistake. And he always
Right.
wants to say he's surrounded by the best people until he throws them under the bus and then starts disparaging them. So he hasn't gotten there with Hegseth yet. I think he will, but not on this topic. Like,
Right.
because Trump won't want to let this story extend.
Right.
But,
And Trump
that,
likes, I think Trump likes the cruelty of any of his policies, right? The ICE cruelty, the murderous cruelty. Um, and I wonder what the world stage is think. What does the rest of the world think about this nonsense? Like, I mean, today we jacked a Venezuelan oil tanker. I mean, if you're, a man or woman defending our nation's shores, I'm sure you never signed up thinking you'd be taking over oil tankers.
absolutely not. Remember when the Yemeni pirates, what they were called pirates, when they were trying to take over boats in the Persian Gulf,
Right,
and we bombed Yemen for like a month, right?
right,
We killed
right,
hundreds. We just killed thousands of people because there was some pirates out there disrupting some boats, which was messing with commerce.
right,
And now we're down in the Caribbean doing the same thing with a full justification because we don't consider Maduro legitimate. Look, I'm no Maduro fan, right? I wasn't a
right,
Chavez fan. I would love to see him ousted.
right,
But we're not going around the world, and we don't have the authority to go around the world and just oust leaders we don't like. I'd like to see Putin ousted. I don't think he's a
right.
legitimate leader either. So they don't. I don't think Erdogan's a legitimate leader. I don't think any of them have had like legitimate elections. They've had sham elections. But you know,
What do they all have in common,
we're not
Brock?
just going to war everywhere all over the world. So we're out of bounds here. We're not in the right. We're, in essence, creating illegal actions on the international stage.
Yeah,
There's just no enforcement mechanism, so there's no one really to stop us. The only people that can stop Trump is the American people, and we haven't done it yet.
right. And you know, we're getting there. We get loud. We're ebbing and flowing. We're loud, then we're not. We're loud, then we're not. We got hope, walls, and then we don't. Like, her epic clapback against Dandy Don Jr. There's no way your daddy loves you like mine loves me.
Yeah.
That was classic.
So
You
on
gotta
point.
leave that.
We know those kids are
Big follow.
damaged. Those kids are so fucking damaged.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, hey, remember when Jasmine Crockett went after Ivanka when Ivanka called her ghetto trash? And Jasmine said, "Well, at least my daddy never touched me."
Ivanka's quiet, man. She's disappeared. She has
Oh yeah.
smartly
With nothing
disappeared.
to do with that.
Her brand went to zero. She thinks she's going to be able to come back to polite society. She never will. But we
No.
did get a chance to go to the voting booth last night, and in
Big time.
Miami, the Democrats cleaned the clocks. First mayor, Democratic mayor of Miami in 30 years, and she won by 20 points. Another huge swing of voters, and another, shock to the system in MAGA world who are getting increasingly concerned that they can't win fair elections anymore.
Right.
So we can look at that as good or bad, right? Good, we're winning
Well,
elections. Bad that we may, one of these days, Trump's going to flick off the switch and stop allowing fair elections.
right. And that's the problem. That's the fear I think that most intelligent folks have. And seeing as how it came the first time in 30 years. I mean, these are, again, we're talking about common sense solutions. Um, and that's what the people that are winning. And like you were saying, it's all about running the right candidate in the right time in the right place. We can't be sitting around waiting to see, what middle of the road MAGA light type people are going to do, and if they and whether or not they care about our democracy.
At the end of the day, Mark, and this is a Democratic infighting battle. I would, if I have to be labeled, I hate the labels, right? Color me a progressive, right? I'm out
Yeah.
there. I'm a universal healthcare guy, so that probably puts me in the progressive camp. So I'm sick of like trying to poll to figure out who that candidate could be that could move
Right.
those white men at a diner in the middle. We need to just keep running the most dynamic, energetic, high octane candidates that we can find. And if you
Right.
lose some battles, you lose some battles, but you're going to win the war because you're bringing the fire everywhere. And stop trying to game the system in any place because that tamps down the energy and the enthusiasm, which ultimately tamps down the turnout. So, like,
Right.
play for high turnout, play for your base, stop playing for 4 70-year-old white guys in an Iowa diner. It is such a fucking losing game.
All day. All day it's a losing game. Um, and now, we're at risk of losing our democracy because we've been playing that game for too
Playing
long.
that game. Yeah.
Yeah. 1997 was the last time there was a Democratic mayor in the city of Miami. So Eileen Higgins is the first to flip it in, 3 decades. Like you said, 59 or 60% to 40%. I mean, crushing it,
So I
crushing
haven't
it.
seen I haven't seen exit polls or anything, but certainly if my timeline is any indicator, there was definitely a major switch in that MAGA Cuban voter, which I never understood why the Cuban American voter, right? I know they always get, in my mind, bamboozled by the term socialism and end up voting for
Right,
the Republican candidates. But
right,
because of what ICE has been doing, running around the country, tossing Latinos and Spanish speakers, even
yep,
if they're American citizens, in the backs of vans into deportation centers, apparently that had a big ripple effect because in Miami, which has not had a big ICE presence yet, the
but it
messaging
does have.
was they're coming here eventually, and apparently a lot of people don't speak English in that Cuban American community in Miami.
Right, right.
So
Check this out, bro. I'm looking at the Hill. 38,000 votes in total. 38,000. That seems a little low for the city of Miami, don't you think?
That seems very low. That seems very low compared to New York, which had huge turnout, and in that Tennessee 7, which had big turnout. That
Right.
seems low. That tells me Republicans stayed home.
Big time. Big
They
time. It's technically a nonpartisan election, but I mean, 37,000 people. I mean, what is that, Dade and Broward County down there? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a disappointing number.
yeah, yeah, that's a really
But
low number.
but you know what? I'll take it because usually we want high. We
Doesn't
usually want
matter.
high turnout elections. But hey, if you can win
Right,
a low turnout election, shows you can win any election. And think about how big a swing that is.
right,
Um, so maybe this is another, another trigger to all those Congress people that you keep telling me are going to resign. And I got to tell you, so far, I'm not believing the hype because I've only gotten two resignations, MTG
right,
and that other joker in Texas. Like,
right,
bring them on. Like, I keep hearing about this wave of resignations and not seeing it yet.
right. And I need to see it in order to believe it. I'm from Missouri. At least part time. You got to show me something. Um, I just feel like you know, that at some point, Trump's luster had to wear out. And, the fact that it's come to a head now um, doesn't surprise. I mean, we've had 10 years of this Joker. And, now, they may be talking about canceling elections. And people may be saying, hey, I'm not going to prison for this guy. And, that wouldn't surprise me
I
if that,
absolutely see the logic in a
yep,
Republican congressman in a district that is anywhere plus 15 or below, saying,
right,
why am I going to put myself through this?
right.
Because at the end of the line, I may be a part of something totally treasonous and illegal. Maybe they're just trying to get through this session before Christmas, and we'll see the resignations over the holidays or right when they come back. If I'm just thinking of timing because
Right,
at some point, if you're going to run again, you also have to announce that you're going to run in the next primary.
right,
It's getting around that time. You turn the corner into 2026. You really kind of have to start campaigning for your primary. So yeah, it's got to be the next 30 days we would hear. Hey, I want the wave of resignation as much as you do, but I'm just disappointed we've only seen two so far.
right, 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 right. It's going to be interesting to see, um, if they even have any candidates to even put up. And 20 seats is a huge number of
Oh,
seats.
they're gonna find them. Look at all the MAGA crazies that are out there.
Well, but
They're
that's
not.
the thing.
Their candidates don't have to be like qualified, or all they have to do is spit enough
Uh,
fire, election deniers, raging racists, ICE lovers. Like they're gonna find candidates, right? It's a great
right,
job. You're gonna find people. They're just gonna be probably ultra right,
right,
ultra Trump supporters, that shrinking group that's really going to play to the base to make sure they win that primary. So I
right.
think we're just going to get more absolute fanatics, MAGA fanatics involved in next year's elections,
Ooh,
which is going to just make for ugliness all around. If
oh,
then we turn the corner at the end of the summer, all bets are off on whether, how much either vote rigging there's going to be, voter suppression, or whether there's going to be. I mean, if there's a all-out cancellation, like we go to civil war in America. So
right.
2026 is the year we're going to find out.
Eesh. Wow. You really
Get
just.
ready for it. Get ready for it.
I
Good
mean,
thing
we
is
might as
that
well.
good thing is those Somalis out of Minneapolis look like they'll be on our side now because
This time.
they're all doing the mea culpas that they fucked up. I love
Right,
watching those old clips of the guys a year ago saying they're going to vote for Trump and how they're MAGA and he's what's best for America. And now that he's
right.
called them fucking garbage and wants them thrown out of the country, they've, the
They're like,
light bulbs
oops.
come on for some of them. So between
Right,
Minneapolis and Dearborn, Michigan, and Miami with the Cubans, we are definitely getting some, 180s being done by some voters that we thought were off base, to say the least, in the
right,
last election. It's taken them 1 year to kind of come around.
right. And a lot of FAFO going around, a lot of fuck around and find out. You know, and unfortunately, it was a painful lesson for the Latino community. Um, and you're right. There wasn't a big police ICE presence in Miami, but they did have some. I remember them hanging out in the bushes, waiting for people to come out of the courtroom and then grabbing them and shipping them off to who knows where.
Yeah.
So we did see that in the Miami, greater Miami area. All right.
Can we
What
take
else
a
do we got?
can we take a second to just talk about what an absolute psychotic
Aberration.
lunatic Trump is?
He's
I
off the
mean,
rails.
his
25th
performance
of
his performance in the Poconos, which was supposedly his big coming out for affordability and economic championing, was an absolute debacle. A horrendous performance, which was off track, off the rails, off message, just total foolishness for as long as it went. I couldn't even pay attention beyond
right,
watching a handful of clips. So that's a bust. Trump can't go out on the road anymore and rally the forces. He's
no,
too delusional. He's too far gone,
right,
right? So that's right off the bat. Trump's lost his effectiveness. And that's what the GOP is seeing as well. But the American public is sort of one by one coming around and seeing it. The Truth Social post he put out last night, like, was 3 pages of just fucking idiocy, right? It
right,
was like,
right,
he just can't come back because he's gone mentally.
right.
He's gone. I saw someone post and say if it should be required that every American citizen read that Truth Social post out loud to themselves. Because just saying those words out loud and hearing them would just wake
Right.
some people up to just how mad the king is. He's
Oh, he's
just
gone.
gone. He's absolutely gone. And it's getting worse every day. I mean, he bragged about his dementia test 3 times in one post. Like, he
Right.
literally thinks he's won a world championship because he got through, camera, cable station, overhead lighting or whatever the fuck,
But remember, the regime told us it was supposed to be all about, affordability and the economy, the plans for the economy to get things turned around. And it turns into grievances, about immigration and people from filthy countries. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, these immigrants don't have anything to do with the prices of beef right now. You're killing us. You're killing us. We can't even make hamburger helper. Like, all you have is helper. You don't have any hamburger. It's too expensive. So he made a mockery of affordability last night. Thought it was a big joke.
yeah, it's a
Which
hoax. He laughs about it. He went and
and
got interviewed and he was just like, "Oh, come on, stop, playing this up, blame the
right,
interviewer for like
Democrat hoax.
making too much of it."
Right,
And that's the day-to-day lives of the American people. So he's just lost that connection,
right.
right?
As if he ever had it. Like, when's the last time he went to a grocery store?
No, but he was able to sell enough people on that he's a regular guy. He talks
Right,
quote like us, which just means he's like racist. But
right,
he played that card, even though he was a billionaire and they're like on the poverty line. Like, he acted like he was one of them because he's at a third grade speaking level. So like he was able to connect with the uneducated. But I think he's held on to most of them. That's still his 35% approval.
right,
But anyone who's, not lost in that messaging is looking at their everyday life and listening to what he talks about and just going, there's no fucking connection here. This guy's doing nothing for
for
me.
me. Yeah. And and the good thing is that now, people are starting to come around and say, hey, looks like Republicans are pretty much to blame for this lasting inflation. What they told us was just a blip, was a Biden, policy failure, it now belongs to us as Republicans.
It's been a year. You can't keep
Right.
blaming blaming the last guy lasts for works for a while, but that's not
Right.
an enduring strategy. Like at
Right.
some point, you have the job, you have the tools to fix some things,
Yep.
and the tariffs are brutal, right? The tariffs are an absolute economic debacle, self-inflicted wound, worthless, foolish move that we chose, Trump chose, and Jerome Powell's out of his job in 4 months because the Fed chair, and he came out today, just told everyone prices are up because of tariffs. He's not
Right.
gonna, he doesn't have the bullshit anymore, right? He's just like,
Right.
I'm just, I'm just reading you the facts.
Right. And, again, he probably wants to leave with his reputation intact, right? And not being a rubber stamp for the Trumpster and coming out like Besant, making shit up at every turn, and the rest of these lackeys. So, it is what it is. I'm saying we're in trouble until this guy gets out of there.
Absolutely. That's why I'm tired of Democratic victory laps. It's one of my frustrations when I watch a lot of other really left-leaning podcasts of people that I would normally agree with. I just worry there's too much wishful thinking and
Right.
discussion about what you would hope is happening or is going to happen, not still what the reality is. The reality is MAGA still has all the levers of power. Supreme Court's just making absurd rulings that are stripping away constitutional powers and any balance between the three branches of government. Trump's a fucking lunatic doing making horrendous decisions, selfish decisions for his own pocketbook, and doing things against both the national security and the economic interest of the American citizens. And that's still happening every day. And we can
Yep.
bitch and say Kristi Noem sucks, and Tulsi Gabbard sucks, and Duffy sucks, and Hegseth sucks. They all woke up today with their jobs and their power, and they went out and did more egregious actions that
Damage.
aren't in the
Yep.
best interest of most Americans. So it's still happening every day. We still think we can talk our way out of it, and I don't think we can. I still think we're going to have to protest our way out of it and be feet on the street and march and shut things down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the only thing that we've got left, because obviously we can't get anything done legislatively, right? There's no way anybody's voting for
Absolutely not.
anything, on the blue side of the ledger. And this bipartisanship, that ship has sailed forever and a day ago. So, I mean, there is nothing, that we have to look forward to until we can impeach and remove 25th Amendment, or, cholesterol, takes hold. I mean, jeez.
Way before we get there, Mark, we're on the precipice of an absolute healthcare crisis in America. When
Yes.
these prices go up
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
matter of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Dramatically, it's going to price most people out of the ability to have health insurance. Trump's
Right.
talking about, oh, we'll send people $2,000 checks. What is that? If you have a couple of kids, that's maybe 2 months of premiums.
Right.
Oh, what happened to that's one emergency room visit. God forbid you ever have to be in an ambulance, right? If giving someone $2,000 for the year for their health insurance gets them nowhere. And Trump's
Nowhere.
trying to pretend he's a populist, that he's going to carve out the insurance companies that the Dems love, and you'll be able to go directly to your doctors. Oh, so
Yeah.
we all want to just be paying directly for everything
Right.
that goes on. Cancer patients are going to have to cancel their chemotherapy. I mean, let's just
Right.
talk about the practical shit. These nursing homes are just going to shut down, kick people out, close down, right? So elderly are going to have to come back home. I mean, this is good. This is a tsunami of pain that's about to be inflicted on America, and we're like 2, 3 weeks away from it.
Right. Right.
I
And
mean,
there is
we're getting
no
off
one.
there's
And no
You
one
tell
is saying,
me,
no
how
one's
are we
even talking
dealing with
about
it?
it,
How are we dealing with this?
right? Nobody's giving us any information. I just keep getting text messages from people saying, "Oh, have you, worked out your healthcare situation?" No, I haven't worked it out, but I'm covered. You know, there are millions of people literally that are not. I mean, this is going to bankrupt the healthcare system. I don't know if we realize that yet, but people are going to be going to the hospital in droves with indigent care claims, right? Because they can't pay.
No other option. They'll have
No
no
other option.
other option.
No other
And with
option.
the
People
Medicaid
are
cuts,
going
it's
to
going to crush a lot of hospitals, which where those dollars are really what allowed them actually even to exist.
die.
Like we
Exactly.
barely touched on it, like the ripple effects of these taking away these ACA subsidies. There's like 30 million people plus on the ACA, and the
Right.
rug's being ripped out from all of them, and then it's going to ripple through the rest of insurance, then through the rest of the caregiver side of things. I mean, we're looking at absolute devastation, and it's just creeping up on us day by day. And
Right.
it's gonna what click in on January 2nd or whatever. That's when kind of the price changes kick in, right? So the month of
Yep.
January, people who are barely getting by are immediately downgraded to the poverty line or they're getting off of health insurance. But parents with kids can't get over. 25-year-old, 26-year-old maybe will roll the dice, right?
Right.
You have a
Right.
couple kids, you can't just give up your health
You
care.
can't be playing games with that. So that means something else has to give. What is it? The mortgage? Is it the car note? Is it
Definitely,
food?
it's definitely the car note unless you need the car to go to work, which is
Right.
often the case. Definitely the food's getting cut. I mean,
Because
everyone's
remember,
well, homelessness is going to go up, no doubt,
oh, through
right?
the roof, through the roof. And remember, Trump wanted to make everybody get back in the office, right? So even if you were struggling, you could maybe give up your car and then,
Yeah,
when
work from
things
home.
get better, re-up if you could work from home. But now, remember when Trump made all these federal employees get back in the office?
Yeah, everyone's got to get.
Everyone's got to give back, you know? So,
As much as we're not talking, the two things I think America's not talking about enough, and of course our failed media doesn't talk about shit except a story
of
that they
course,
can get some clicks on, right? They'll spend more time on Stephen A. Smith than they'll spend on important shit. Is we
right,
every day we should be talking about what a psychopath Trump is because he shows us every single day. And it's
right,
almost become not news anymore. Like his Truth Social post last night is the most ludicrous thing ever delivered by an American president, and he'll do it
and
again tonight,
none of them
right?
talk
He'll
about it,
he'll
right?
he'll. And the second thing is this healthcare crisis that we're staring down the barrel of this gun, and it's gonna reshape America in a significantly negative way.
Right,
And we're not talking about how devastating these price changes are going to be and the ripple effect it's going to happen through the economy and through the quality of life of citizens in America. Like we're just
right,
not talking about it, but shit, it's December 10th. Mark, we're like 21 days away from this dramatic change in
right,
America.
right. And it's going to be one of the most painful changes we've ever been through, Bob. I don't think we've been through anything like this in our lifetime. I can't think of anything this bad
Absolutely
except
not.
post 9/11. I mean, but that wasn't of our own, that wasn't self-inflicted.
Remember in the 70s, we had like oil lines and we'd have to, we'd sit in the station wagon with our parents with 100 cars
Yes.
with gas.
Yeah.
We're like, shit, that was just gas. And yeah, the price went up and it affected everyone's household balance sheet, right? Because gas got so much more expensive and you had to plan filling your tank, you know? That's what I remember from being like 7, 8 years old. Yeah, then
Right.
nothing till like 9/11. And this is just going to be bigger. You can't have 30 million people or so on a healthcare program that you're now pricing them all out of, basically, is
Right.
what's happening, right? You're just
Right.
making it all, it's like, I don't even know what we can equate it to, right?
I,
There's no corollary. There's nothing more important than our health, right? So
right.
like this is hitting the most important aspect of our entire lives,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and we're taking it away from a huge swath of Americans. Talk about haves and have nots. Like the demarcation line is going to be like who can afford health insurance and who can't.
How fucked up is that? All right, how fucked up is that? And Brock, again, I know I keep going back on this and keep harping on it, but think about the small business owner. You know, the guy that owns a Chick-fil-A franchise, but not a Chick-fil-A.
McDonald's. But he just
Yeah,
they're gonna have to pass it along to the employees. So at the end of the
right,
day,
right.
it's the people at the bottom of the chain are gonna
That
it always it's the only trickle down is pain in America. It's never been fucking money, right? The pain
right,
trickles down. If that small business owner's feeling the pain, it's his employees that are gonna get whacked by the two by four,
no
right? He's
doubt.
gonna take some of it, but he's gonna pass it along.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the crazy sad part. And and again, Trump doesn't give a shit.
Listen,
All right, give me a couple of quick hits before we get out of here.
throw one for you today. It goes back to something I said earlier. I don't want to hear another fucking word about whether or not Jasmine Crockett should be running for Senate in Texas
I don't get it.
because a black woman can't win in Texas. Oh, racist, misogynist. Oh, we got to get someone who, quote, appeals more to independence.
Right,
Code for I'm worried about the white guys in the diners. And I get it. Texas is the South and it's a racist state. But we got to bring our best candidates with the most fire, and no one but a top flight,
yep,
fantastic communicator and leader in the Congress deserves the right and just, of course, should throw their hat in the ring to run for Senate. That's the natural stepping stone in the job. And of
right,
course, she should run. What, she shouldn't run against some white state senator? Guy's never even had a national office yet. You
right.
kidding me?
Makes
So
no
I don't want to
sense.
hear another word about it. Everybody shut the fuck up, line up behind Jasmine, and fight the fight. And we may
Right.
lose some
And
battles,
help
like I
her
said
win.
earlier, but we're going to win the war by bringing the most talented, best communicators, highest energy candidates, not trying to figure out what the electorate might want and blah, 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 and
Right,
do polling forever and ask people about their kitchen table issues when they're really just
right.
racist. So just best candidate runs. I'm behind Jasmine 120%. I'm not in Texas, so no one cares, but I'll be behind AOC when she throws her hat in the ring and does the exact same thing in New York. I'll be
No
lining
doubt.
up behind her in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. And you know, Jasmine Crockett is a firebrand, and she's super smart. So, don't tell me she doesn't have the qualification, the recognition. She's one of the most recognizable faces in the
She's in
party.
America. She's doing exactly what
Period.
Adam Schiff did, right? You become a congressman, become a big voice, become a leader in the party, Senate seats open, you run for it. No one said, said to Adam Schiff, "Oh, Adam, I don't know if you should be running for Senate." I mean,
Right.
it was a foregone conclusion. It was a no-brainer when he announced. It was like, of course, Adam Schiff is now going to run for a Senate seat. Of course, Jasmine Crockett's going to run for a Senate seat. Of course, AOC is going to run for a Senate seat. That's who runs for Senate seats.
Exactly. Exactly. So, my last quick hit of the day is something we got to continue to follow on, and that is, this BlackRock story. Have you been following this? This purchase that they made, where they bought 300 homes, and I think they paid, I want to say $300,000 per home, and then sold the homes to themselves for $700,000, right? And now, like, they're pricing people right out
Yeah.
of the market, right? So they're
Mark,
probably going to turn around. Go ahead. Go ahead. What are you
I
going to
was going
say?
to add this to the list, the policy list of day
Right.
one for the Dems. It's like there should not be corporate ownership of single family homes.
No. And what's the like, besides them making shit tons of money, what's the purpose?
There's no value in it. It's
There's no
terrible for the
value.
American people. It's like when
Right.
private equity takes over like a dentist office and all of a sudden the care goes down, they're nickel diming you, and it's why we need universal health care. But you can't have this corporate ownership of single family homes. It skews the marketplace, and it's
Yep.
why the cost of living is another
It's
reason why the
high.
cost of living has gone up.
Yep. And so what they do, and I know I'm telling you stuff you already know, but they identify middle class neighborhoods with growth potential, buy hundreds of homes in cash, 20 to 30% above asking, and regular families can't compete, right? So it prices everybody out. So the American dream is, gone down the shitter
And they can
at
sit on the
BlackRock
and they can sit on those homes for
as
as
long as they want.
a century. They have so
Right.
much money in the bank. When there's a natural velocity of buying and selling when it's person to person,
Right.
because there's the urgency of selling, there's the urgency of buyers, and then we
Right.
come to more reasonable price levels, but it creates an artificial market.
Yep.
It's just another thing that's bad for America that my favorite politician, Elizabeth Warren's been chirping about for decades.
For years. Yeah. For years. And everybody thought she was crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
they wanted to shut
They
her up.
tried
They
to
called her crazy
censor.
because they wanted to shut her up because
Yep.
she, like Katie Porter and others, particularly goes hard at financial institutions that skew the economics for everyday Americans. She was big on the protections. What is CFPB, whatever that acronym is that Trump stripped away that protects consumers against all kinds of fraud.
Right.
We stripped that away too. I wasn't that much up on the BlackRock story. I'll look into it now. I didn't know they targeted like middle class. But what you laid out to me makes perfect sense to me as a strategy for them, which
Yep.
is good for them and bad for everybody else.
Yep.
And those are the type of issues Democrats should be talking about. We want to talk about kitchen table issues. It's like structurally, you know,
Right.
structurally in our economy. How are we structuring it so that there can be affordability? And this is the type of shit Trump couldn't even be in the conversation on. He has no
Can't
fucking
get
idea about any of this shit.
no. Can't get his arms around
And
it.
that's why there'll be no policy. That's why there's no affordability message. He couldn't even get to the second sentence of a discussion like this.
Right. Right. All right, bro.
All right, Mark,
That's what
always a
we
pleasure.
today.
Gonna get that
Yes,
heat
sir.
pack back. Gonna get the heat pack back on my back. See if I can straighten up by tomorrow. I'll be ready to rumble.
Yeah. Do some stretches in there too.
It's gonna be a lot of stretching. All right, my man. I'll talk.